What's up guys? Welcome to my channel. On today's video, I want to share with you the most common nutrition mistakes that I see made. And we're going to make sure that you are not making these or you're not going to make them. So that if your plan is to change up your nutrition in any way, whether that is to lose weight or maybe you just want to eat healthier, more balanced, and eat a more real nutritional program, well, we're gonna make sure that you do it the right way. And if you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and make sure that you subscribe, because every single Thursday I put out a new video that alternates between workout-based and nutrition-based, and I don't want you to miss out on it, so make sure that you subscribe. Mistake number one is not hydrating enough and underestimating the power of water. Water is so essential in not only keeping our cells hydrated and making our skin look good, but it's also really important for our digestion, and it can play a huge effect on the ability to lose weight, how our body looks and feels, helping to fight away bloat. In fact, water helps to move things through our digestive system, which we already know that, but it helps to battle bloat, it helps to battle constipation, and it even helps to break down carbohydrates. On top of that, drinking water actually does boost your metabolism. Only by about 2 to 3% up to 90 minutes after you drink about 500 milliliters of water, but every little bit helps, right? We all want a faster metabolism. So if by drinking water is an easy way to help boost your metabolism, then go for it. It helps make your body more efficient. Water is also a natural appetite suppressant. I think that we've heard this before, but if you drink a glass of water before your meals, it helps to keep you fuller longer, and you are more likely to finish your plate when there's still some leftovers on it. Remember, the number one rule for weight loss is if you want to lose weight, you have to burn more calories than you consume. Mistake number two is following some sort of macronutrient elimination diet. There are 3 macronutrients that your body needs: protein, carbs, and fat. And over the past 25 years, we've seen diets revolve around the idea of removing fat so that we have a diet just of protein and carbohydrates. And then we've seen that transform in the other direction where we have eliminated carbohydrates and focused on just eating proteins and fats. The problem with this being is that they are macronutrients for a reason, all of them being required by your body. And the thing that hits us the hardest is when you are done with your weight loss and you start to reintroduce all 3 back into your system, then that is such a hit on your body, you end up gaining the weight back. And for most people, you end up gaining even more weight back. So it's all about balance. Don't be afraid of a macronutrient. What you want to be aware of is the right types of macronutrients. So when it comes to carbohydrates, carbs aren't the devil. It's just making sure that you're eating whole starches, all natural carbohydrates like rice and potatoes and homemade breads versus the processed crap that so often is found in the boxes and makes our way into our pantry. And the same with fats. Fats are incredibly healthy for us. We need a good source of fat, but what you want to avoid are the trans fats and the hydrogenated fats, the man-made, chemically created fats that clog up our arteries and lead to heart disease. But whether it is saturated or unsaturated, for most people, unless you have a predisposed issue, it doesn't matter if it is an all-natural source of fat, it is healthy for you. And fats help keep you satiated. They help keep you fuller longer. Same with protein. Protein is also a macronutrient that we have probably all heard of. There's no diet yet that says that we should eliminate it, but proteins are very, very important for keeping our muscles healthy, for keeping our bodies running efficiently. And like fats, they're also very satiating. They take longer to break down, they stay in our system longer, so they help you stay full from one meal to the next. So don't eliminate all 3. Your body needs them, your brain needs them. Just focus on making sure that you're getting the right macronutrients in. Mistake number, I think this is number 3, is relying on supplements. If we were to create a food pyramid nowadays, you'd have all your all-natural foods, and then at the very, very top, like the itty bitty point at the top, would be your supplements. Trying to rely on supplements to be the cure all of, oh, if I take this supplement, it's going to be amazing and transform my body, is a very naive way to think. But it's also what keeps the supplement industry a multi-billion-dollar industry, which we all know of. But the truth of the matter is, it's going to be much more beneficial for you to try to get your nutrition from whole foods than it is from that supplement. Now, using the supplement to tailor in and kind of cover up the holes that you may have could be beneficial, but there's no one supplement that if you take it, it is going to change your life forever. However, there are foods that if you add to your nutritional regimen that could change your life forever, that could make you feel better, fuel your body better, help you see results that when you look into the mirror. It's the food that you want to look at, and then you can use supplementation just to help kind of repair things where you may need some repairing. But also make sure that you talk to your doctor before you start any type of new supplement. Things like green supplements, while we do use them in our house, we don't rely on them in order to get our nutrition from our fruits and our vegetables. It's just a insurance plan, as my husband and I like to call it. So don't rely too much on supplements. They're just there as a little bitty itty bitty boost, but first you need to perfect your actual nutrition. Mistake number 4, too much, too soon. This is kind of the idea where you have on Sunday this grand plan that tomorrow you are going to transform all the habits that you've created over your lifetime and start anew, whether that is trying a paleo diet or go keto. Basically, you want to clean your entire kitchen out and start fresh. Here's the problem with that. It is overwhelming. It has taken a lifetime to create certain habits, and the idea that you can just toss it out the window overnight, it's just not going to happen. That's when you feel deprived. That's when you feel miserable. And that's when, after just a couple of hours, maybe a couple of days, if you're lucky, you feel out of control and you feel like a failure because you're not able to hold on to those huge changes. So instead of making such big changes at once, start small. Start with one meal maybe. Instead of eating cereal for breakfast, can you start making breakfast burritos that include some eggs and some bacon that have more nourishment, and maybe add some spinach to it to get some more vegetable nutrition in there? Or maybe instead of eating out at lunch 5 days a week, make it so that you only eat out your lunch on Fridays. It kind of makes it like a special treat. And then for your dinners, if you want to make one simple thing, sit down on Sunday or the day before you go grocery shopping and just go ahead and map out your meals. You don't have to spend hours in your kitchen prepping. Meal prep looks different for everybody, but start small and just create a plan for the following week. That's meal prep, right? So don't think that you have to change everything overnight. Small changes can make a really big impact, and once you figure out one small change and it becomes part of your routine, that's when you can start looking at something else. When I'm working with my nutrition clients, or if I'm doing a challenge with Fit Women's Weekly Live, the number one nutrition thing that we first focus on is simply hydrating. Like we talked about before, it's first starting with getting 64 ounces of water in through the day, and then we try to progress to get 96 ounces of water a day until we can slowly work our way up to getting a gallon a day. Once we get that gallon a day, then we can start focusing on other things. Can we take processed sugar and added sugar out of our diet? Can we make a meal plan for the following week? Can we cut up vegetables on a Sunday that can get us through the week? Meal prep doesn't have to be hard, but it does make things easy. So there you go. Don't try to do too much. Take it day by day, one step at a time. Next big mistake, and this is probably the biggest mistake, is eating too few calories. I have a client that I'm working with right now in a reverse diet program because she's eating 800 calories a day. And it all started a few years ago when she wanted to lose weight, and she went on one of those like shake diets. And at first she was like, oh my God, this is 800 calories a day. How am I going to survive off of this? But the problem is, when we restrict ourselves for a period of time, our body becomes used to that. It works hard to find out how to get into an equilibrium with what you're putting in. Your body doesn't want to have to work harder. It finds a way to balance itself out. So if you're only giving it 1,000 calories, it's going to burn your muscle mass. It's going to make the rest of your body not run as efficiently as it should, so that it only needs 1,000 calories to run off of. Sure, you'll lose weight at first, but eventually it'll balance out, and that's how you go into a plateau. And then in order to lose weight, guess what happens? You have to go into a caloric deficit even lower than that. So if my client, who's now been eating 800 calories a day for multiple years, would have to go into a caloric deficit of 500 to 600 calories. I refuse to do that. That is not ethical. That is not smart training. So instead, what we're doing is boosting her calories. And I didn't want to do too much too soon, because it's not that she's purposely eating 800 calories to lose weight. It's just that that's what she's become accustomed to, and she's not hungry beyond that. So instead, what we're trying to do is increase her caloric intake to 1,000 calories right now per day for the next 2 weeks, and then we'll go up to 1,200 calories. And what we're doing is reestablishing a new normal, so that once we get her caloric intake to a healthy level, because 800 calories is not healthy by any means, Then, in order to help her lose weight to get into a healthy spot with her BMI and her health, we'll be able to cut her calories down to a place that is still in a deficit, but it's not unhealthy. It's manageable. So once she goes into a maintenance, her maintenance will be in the thousands, hopefully closer to 2,000, and not in the hundreds, where that's not even what a 2-year-old takes in. So if you've been in a dieting phase for years, which a lot of women are, we kind of feel like we have to always be dieting. Ask yourself, do I need to maybe do a refeed? And a refeed doesn't take a long time. I've done a podcast on it. I'll actually try to link it up. If I can't link it up here, I'll link it down in the show notes. It's not about trying to gain weight. It's about trying to get your body into a healthy position where it has a healthier metabolism so that you can get the gains that you want. You can build more muscle. You can have more energy. You can utilize your body better when you're giving it the calories that it requires and not just the calories that you're craving, if that makes sense. Next tip. The idea that you fail once and you're a failure. If you set rules for yourself with your nutrition, one, you're already looking to be let down, right? There's going to be ups and downs. No nutrition is perfect, and it shouldn't be. There is amazing food out there that is just meant to be enjoyed. Food is also a social activity. So if you try to set boundaries on yourself where you can't eat sugar, you can't drink milk, you can't eat XYZ, well, when you're in a position where that's where it's at and you give in, you feel as if you have failed. And then before you know it, instead of just eating one donut, you eat the entire box of donuts, and it leads to a downward spiral where you just go back into your old habits. Instead, think of it as you ate a donut. So what? And then you get right back to your healthier habits and you move on with your day. I once had somebody explain it to me like this, and I love it, and now I share this with my clients. If you are going up the stairs and you trip and you fall down, do you just look at the top of the stairs and go, oh, that was a great idea. Guess I can't do that, and turn around and walk away? No, of course not. You wipe off your knees, you take a deep breath and go, oh, that kind of sucked. And then you carry right back up the stairs. That's how it should be when it comes to your nutrition or your fitness. Anything in life should not be focused so much on, if I fail, I am a failure. If you mess up once, you didn't mess up. You just ate something that's not maybe on your normal day-to-day regimen, but then you get right back on things and it's fine. Next up, biggest mistake that I see made, doing what your friend does. What works for one person doesn't necessarily work for another person. Our bodies are so different. The stress that we have is different. Our body makeup is different. Our body composition is different. What we are able to do throughout our day is different. The steps that you get is different, right? The workouts are different. So to think that one person's diet is going to work for you is a really big misconception. And I think that's something in our society that we always look at of like, oh my gosh, Adele lost all this weight. What did she do? I should be doing that. What worked for Adele may not work for you, and you have to establish the pattern of nutrition that works best for you and makes you feel best. So if your friend did something that worked for her and you gave it a shot and then you didn't see the results that she did, again, it's easy to think, what's wrong with me? How did I fail? It worked for her. There must be something wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with you. You just have to figure out what works best for you. And that takes some experimentation. You know, I always also like to tell people when we're trying to figure out caloric intake or figuring out your macros, there's no exact equation to say, okay, this is going to work for you. These are the numbers. This is how many calories you should take in. We can give an estimate, but it's going to take some time. You're not going to gain 10 pounds over the course of a night, right? There's going to be time for us to collect data. And so when it comes to nutrition, whether you're trying to figure out your macros or your calories or whatever the case may be, make sure that you give yourself some leeway to collect some data and figure out what works and what doesn't to make it customizable to your needs. And if you need help with that, reach out. I'm happy to give more information. You guys, we're almost done. We've got 2 more. Next tip is snacks sneak up. If you kind of sit around at the end of the day and go, man, I'm eating really healthy, but I'm not seeing the results that I want. If you're not tracking the little things like the M&M here or the pretzel there, those things individually are fine. But if you do that constantly throughout the day, or if you're eating off of your kid's plate or seconds off of your husband's plate, those things build up really fast. And before you know it, you're taking in an extra 300 to 500 calories that you didn't even realize, right? And those are mindless calories. So just be aware and cognizant of the little munchies that you might have throughout the day, because those do make a difference. If you're trying to go into a deficit where you're cutting out 300 calories a day, but then you're just taking a little bite here and there, you could be completely taking away that 300 calorie deficit and staying right where you are, and therefore not getting the results that you crave. The final mistake that I see made all the time are people not listening to the experts. There are so many influencers out there toting their reds and greens and their macro coaching. Just because somebody looks fit doesn't mean that they know what they're talking about. And this kind of goes back to trying to do what your friends are doing as well, right? At the end of the day, if you are having a hard time or you want to get healthy and you want to see results with your body, talk to an expert. They're going to be the ones that could guide you, that hold your hand, that can help with your mindset throughout this journey. They can help collect that data for you so that you can figure out what works and what doesn't, instead of just taking the word of somebody who looks in shape or looks like they eat healthy. Those people drive me crazy. It's a huge thing in the influencer world right now. And I just want to put a PSA out there to make sure that you do your research to somebody before you purchase someone's nutritional program or hire someone to be your nutrition coach. Make sure that they are actually certified in what it is that they're doing and not just trying to sell their stuff because they have a huge following. That goes for fitness as well. So there you have it. Those are the most common diet and nutrition mistakes that I see made. If you learned anything in this video, make sure to like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe. Next week, we will be back in the studio for a fitness-focused video. Well, I'll say that 5 times. But right now, I'm gonna go ahead, close this video out. I'm going to be making some gingerbread bread, some little mini loaves to give away for people for the holidays, and I will make sure to share that recipe over on my Instagram account for Plan Smart, Eat Real. All right, you guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope that you found that enjoyable. If you did, let me know. I know I don't often do these just voice and face talk videos, but I enjoy doing it, and hopefully you guys do too.